IT Live, the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel. I'm Joe Cook. That's Justin Wells. That's Ian Boyd. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, help us support our child care needs. And of course, head to Inside Texas. 50% off gets you the ultimate fan bundle. That's Inside Texas. That's On3. That's Rivals. It is still the thick of recruiting season. Lots of great stuff going on. Talking about high school prospects in the 2027 class. Some really highly rated players making their way to Austin this weekend. So come check it out. Also, some baseball portal intel, football intel, everything you need to know about the Longhorns is over at Inside Texas. Justin, this is gonna be a little bit of a scheme show, not too in the weeds, because I think Ian's done a really good job over the past couple of days of making it straightforward with what we're talking about with the two defensive end spots. But we know just by what they got in the transfer portal, Texas needed to do something a little bit different at defensive tackle. And between your guy Zion Williams, between your guy Ian Griffard, there's some more big boys there, especially as they look to change the defense slightly on the front this year.
Is that for me or is that for Ian?
I'll take it. I'll take it. The more and more I look at it this offseason, the more I think that the 3-down stuff will be not the main thing this year, because they have just the ideal 4-down ends and edges.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't imagine a better setup than Lance Jackson and Zeno Meazulu and Colton Vasek, and then Colin Simmons.
Yeah.
Richard Wesley and Smith Orogbo. Orogbo or Orogbo?
Arogbo.
Arogbo?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like you can take your pick.
They have anyway. Muschamp can take a pick between which guys he wants to play at either end spot and just throw darts and have good options. So they loaded up with some big nose tackles, and I'm sure they'll get into some 3-down. I'm sure they'll 2-gap some with some of these big guys, but I think 4-down will be the name of the game this year. And then honestly, the best defensive tackles on the team are Hero Canoe, Alex January, and maybe Murad Watson, or maybe Justice Terry. And all those guys, I think, are 3 techniques.
That's the thing, and I guess we can get into that at a certain point. Does the fact that they have more 3 technique guys than nose tackle guys give you any sort of concern?
Not really.
Not if you want to stop the run.
They have, I think Canoe can play nose if they need him to.
In a
That's what he
pinch.
did at Ohio State. They actually had, in the spring game, the two main lines went Canoe at 3 with Giffard at nose, which was a lot of people. Like, there was a lot of person in the middle of the field there. They came off the field after Giffard made this big stop once, and Canoe was like, "Big boy," and giving him dapping him up, and Giffard makes Canoe look so small.
Yes.
And Canoe is not a small person at all. He's a massive person.
He's a big guy. He's not massive.
He's
Relative. It's 6'4", 330.
You don't say – you say massive, I think, Ian Giffard. You say big guy, I think, Hero Canoe. We walk amongst these guys on a regular basis, Joe. Like, we see the size differentials. Hero is
5'8".
Man.
Me, Canoe is a massive person.
2 men.
Canoe is a massive person to me.
So
that makes sense. I'll give you that.
All right. So that was the first line. And then the second line was January at 3. And then Watson at nose.
He's a little bit bigger, at least listed this year. I think he's up to in the 330 range and maybe being at 3.
I'd like to see Sharma take that spot.
Yeah, Sharma, your boy Zion from Louisiana, transferring in. Those 4, and then maybe Canoe could all play nose. I guess maybe Muschamp's got bigger aspirations for Canoe than just clogging space this year.
One of the things that when Pete Kwiatkowski was here, he became tagged with being a 2-4-5 coach. And for the first year when Texas couldn't, the screen door submarine or a screen door in a submarine, everybody thought, oh, you can't have just 2 defensive tackles. As we saw with guys like Sweat and Murphy, and then with Collins and Broughton, and then even Norton, Lole, some of the other players that they've used, like the 2 and 2-4-5 is not that big of a deal. But at the same time, I feel like when you're a defensive lineman and your technique is either 1 or 0 or 3, there's not a whole lot that's different about your job in defense to defense. Is that the case this year? Like, will Hero Canoe be pretty used to what he's going to be asked to do this year? Will Watson, will those guys be in like a pretty similar shape this year, at least because of what the personnel they are and around them are going to probably lead Muschamp to doing?
I think it may be just a little bit different. To your point, it's going to be a lot of the same techniques they've already been doing. It's going to be a lot of the same alignments. The mint is a little different, but PK actually used that some. And like I said earlier, I don't know if that's actually going to be as predominant this year as maybe in future years or maybe ever. That may be more of a Smart Schumann preference than a Muschamp preference. But I think one of the differences, if you pull up that article, do you have that by chance? I have this table of the statistics for Texas's starting defensive tackles over the last several years. And you'll notice that most of these guys do not have like really gaudy counting stats. Some of that is rotating a lot, but some of that is just that PK would tend to emphasize techniques where these guys are just clogging the toilet for the offense. There's like being in the way and taking on blocks and freeing up the edges and linebackers. There was a little bit of that to the 2-4-5. The 2-4-5 was really almost just a 4-2-5. It's almost more of a marketing thing for players, like come be an edge.
There you go.
Than it was much of a.
Yes.
There are ways in which a 2-4-5 can be different than a 4-2-5, and Texas did not use those ways very often. So, but anyway, none of these guys, our stats were like super gaudy. Byron Murphy and Tavondre Sweat have like pretty good stats for defensive tackles. Those are like good stats, but they're not like eye dropping. And those two completely dominated in 2023. Completely dominated. All the teams that played Texas that year, in the Big 12 especially, were like, we don't know what to do. We're at an enormous disadvantage on every single snap on offense because we can't block either of the two guys right across from the ball. But
that's why Jalen Ford had like 100-something tackles, because these guys are playing gap and a half. No offensive lineman can get to the second level. And then
flushing everybody to the.
And then there's Jalen Ford, super instinctual, short area quickness right there to make some strong tackles.
And that's why they were able to get away with playing freshman Anthony Hill. When what did PK say? He's like, "You're a hell of a football player, but you're not much of a linebacker," or whatever. It's his freshman, yeah.
And one of the things, Justin, especially when you look at this from the recruiting angle, is we have long talked about how in 2021. Sark shows up and they go and get, Ben Davis and Ovia Gofo, and they go and get Ray Thornton because there were no edge, players on the roster.
Yeah.
The best edges that they had, they tried to play at middle linebacker for a year, and that's what got Todd Orlando fired in part. So now that still allowed for these past few years for Sark to still have these defensive linemen that fit a variety of roles. And but I guess to say, the thing is, some of those defensive linemen that were recruited for that 3-down system that Orlando ran, that Charles Omenihu didn't like, but still put himself there anyway, those specific players on the 4I spectrum have kind of flushed out of the roster. And that kind of tells the tale as to why Texas may not be running that mint front that had the 4 eyes so often. That was often a bad thing on the recruiting trail, just because they don't have the type of versatile players to do that compared to what they have for 4-down stuff.
I agree, Joe.
4-eye is just a different beast when it comes to recruiting. It's a hard sell, and defensive tackles don't always like hearing it.
Defensive tackles hate hearing it until they hear their NIL number, and then they're okay with it. Then they're like, you know what? I'm cool. We're good. No problems. Honestly, I don't think it's a hard sell because I don't think the players look at it as a particular position. I think they look at it as a program overall that just sends gobs of kids to the NFL the last 3 years. Like, I don't think Lance Jackson coming in was worried about what a 4-eye would look like or whatnot. I think he looked at like PK sending guys to the league, him being an edge guy, him being a really good fit and culture fit and on and off the field. For me, I think they've stockpiled at this position regardless. I think they've stockpiled with athletes that fit, and they've just molded them once they got to Texas. I don't think they've sold them on some particular position. I think it's basically, hey, look what we do in this room. Look what we do on this side of the ball. Look, your versatility is going to allow us to play you here. We're going to allow you to play here. If anything, you can sell them on that. You can sell them on the versatility and the ability to get on the field quicker if you can find a spot to contribute. And so I just think they sell development. I don't think it's a sales pitch from Will Muschamp that's like, hey, I got to have this sort of Mike linebacker. I think they look at Muschamp's history and they're like, man, that's a lot of linebackers in the NFL. I want to be a part of that crew.
Do you think it's easier to sell to a defensive tackle, like a guy who is already 300 pounds or 290 pounds? Hey, you may have to play 4-eye, compared to somebody who may be like 260 something pounds and thinks he's going to be pass rushing, selling 4-eye to that type of prospect?
It's a lot harder to sell it to the 260 kid. It is a lot harder because the 260 kid knows he's going to get to 290. The 290 kid is worried about the 320 to 330 because he knows he's sliding inside if he gets to that weight. So I think the 260 kid has a little bit more give, whereas the 290, dude, it's inevitable, man. Yeah. Lance Jackson was 282 his senior year in high school. Your body was just going to take you where it was going to take you.
What do you think he's at now? Because he's listed at 272.
I'm going to say he's 280, 285.
And during the spring, he said he wanted to be in that range.
Yes, he's going to stay in the 280, 290 range. He's not going to get over 290. He loses athleticism past that point, loses functional mass.
Well, you used the A word. I think Texas is going to be more and more athletic down the line with Muschamp on the D line than they were with PK. Because PK would be like –
PK was more rigid.
Yeah, he was like, give me some big, stout dudes that can be in the way, and I'll get R2-D2 to teach them where to put their hands, and we'll be tough. And that is not how Muschamp plays it. So I went outside of Georgia, although he did coach while at Georgia. Muschamp coached defenses that had Jalen Carter and Mykal Williams, and those guys were pretty disruptive and put up decent stats. When Muschamp was calling all the shots without Schumann and Smart, look at this. Lamar Houston had 17 tackles for loss and 7 sacks in one season. Javen Kinlaw had 16 tackles for loss and 10.5 sacks over 2 seasons. So it was like 8 and 5 each year, which is like, that was Byron Murphy's best year. It was just another year for Kinlaw.
Do you know how impressive that is, Ian, that Lamar Houston did that from the 3 tech? That was a running back in high school. You know how impressive that is?
Well, he was an athlete, but that's the thing, though, is that he was an athlete.
There you go. They're not looking for a particular position. They're looking for an athlete they can mold and find different spots for, in my opinion.
He was Lamar was one of the all-time great football players at Texas that never really got
enough love.
They
relied a lot on him and Roy Miller. And when Roy graduated, it was him and Ben Alexander. And I got to tell you, like the defensive tackles they have today, lot bigger, lot stronger, lot better. Like imagine what they would have done with those guys back then.
Yeah, they were like, it was Ben Alexander and then a redshirt freshman, Keyston Randall.
Yes, from Beaumont. That kid had to play early and often. I remember that was one of the big sales points in his recruitment because he was one of the higher rated guys. I remember them telling him, hey, you're going to have to come and play pretty quickly.
So when you're looking at the spots on this defense, for the most part, projected this year in the normal 4-down front that you see, that utilizes Colin Simmons, Lance Jackson on the outside, not putting them in, I would say for those players disadvantageous positions, where are the Texas defensive tackles going to be lining up?
In the pretty standard 2-eye 3 technique combo, I think. So your normal 3 technique, some of them may be a little tighter in 2 gapping. Some of them may be able to play a little more in space and like shoot upfield. And then the best practice in football today is usually for the nose to play in a 2-eye across from the guard. It makes it easier to obstruct like some of the zone schemes that are common in football. It also puts when you have a defensive tackle lined up over both guards, like think about your typical Texas offensive line over the last 10, 20 years since we 3 have been covering it together. Usually your guards are like your meanest, nastiest blockers. And your center is like the walk-on or local Central Texas kid who knows where everybody's supposed to be. You know? It's not like a killer. And so if you have a defensive tackle across from each guard, tying them down, and then the free hitter for the offensive line is the center, it's not great for the offense.
It's not a big value add.
It's not a big value add. It's like, well, we think we can get our center free to go try to block a linebacker. And it's like, hooray.
Yeah. It's like your utility there is in him being a 5th-year guy who knows where to go, not that he's some overpowering individual.
Or like a special athlete who's going to go it's not Jason Kelsey who's going to go like hit a linebacker in space and take him to the sideline, you know.
Yeah.
Be lucky if you get contact.
So 2-eye, and then but both tackles are in the 2-eye spot?
No, 3 technique and 2-eye.
So that is a little bit different than I think what may. So let me recenter. Okay. 3 technique, outside shoulder of a guard, usually to the strong side of the field, correct?
Yeah. Usually to the tight end side.
To the tight end side. And then 2-eye, inside shoulder.
Inside eye.
Of a guard.
Of the guard, yeah.
Normally to the weak side, non-tight end side. Why not a 1 technique, which is where a lot of people think, you know, outside shoulder of the center, where a lot of people normally put their defensive tackles?
Because then he's across from the center, and the guard can come over and smack him and help him to the center, and then go and be free. And now you're like weak side guard is a free hitter. Whereas if you put the nose across from the weak side guard, then all the weak side runs have way tougher sledding. Especially like the better the nose is and the tighter he's able to play, the more he just becomes extremely obstructive.
It's more conducive to setting up some one-on-one matchups for defensive linemen and tackles.
Yeah, and it just clogs. It's the better turd placement for toilet clogging, basically. You're just making things a lot harder when you do it that way.
We've had a lot of bathroom references talking about the D-line, man.
Yeah, you've got it in the article, but I'm about to pull up the roster. We can kind of go through each player and see where he might fit. But before we do that, we got to hear from our guy, Andre the Lawyer.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the Lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
All right, so I think if y'all can see, I've got the official UT roster up on the screen. This is going to help us go through, and I got it sorted by position. There are a couple guys not included on here, namely Elijah Ali, who we'll see where his career takes him. That's going to be a long curve player. And I think that's it as far as defensive linemen who are not currently on the roster, correct, Justin? There's not a portal guy that I'm forgetting about.
I think Ali was the last one.
Okay. If not, I'll double check real fast, actually. But let's go through each guy and kind of talk about where we might see them ending up. Justice Terry's listed at 6'5", 287. Ian, I know he probably seems like a perfect 4-eye to me. I'm curious where you see him in addition to that fitting in this year.
He can do anything, I think. He's so naturally powerful and athletic. He's like the Lamar Houston of this group. It's just a matter of developing the skill and then beating out whoever is ahead of him. So 3 technique or 4-eye seems like an obvious way to get him on the field.
4-eye, I think he's better suited for 4-eye. I think he's got the hands for 3 tech on like a passing down, but put him at 4-eye. That's a big kid, man.
I think he also, I would be surprised if we don't see him play some nose here and there, and just put him on there in like either passing downs or situations where it's like, you're not here to get double teams. You're here to like try to sprint past the center and cause big problems.
That would be fun.
He seems like a good passing down nose.
Yes, that's what I meant by.
Yeah,
I would see him in the 3 tech on a passing down. 100%. This is the guy that's going to get to the passer on 3rd down from the interior, in my opinion. He's with his ability, his athleticism, his hands.
I'm curious what he gets listed at the next time the roster updates. I mean, he
looks trim. He looks streamlined. He doesn't look bulky. I saw a picture of him the other day on Instagram. He looks like a machine, man.
Yeah.
He makes 287 look fantastic.
And it's not like, if you think of somebody I don't want to say in the SEC, but someone who's carried on pretty well, hovering like below 300, Moro Ojomo was able to do that really well during his career. It's not like he ever really topped out past 300. In fact, they started him out at defensive end for a little while before bumping him in to play alongside Coburn. Like, you can still succeed if you have the strength at that size, even if you don't have the mass. And Terry, I think we've all seen him in person. Like, that's someone who definitely has a little bit of strength to where he could do probably 3 tech.
He's got old man strength.
Yeah. And, coming from 2A football in Georgia, like, his life got a lot different here in Texas with, nutrition, weightlifting, things like that, recovery. Like, that's someone who the physical tools were there. You got to definitely make sure that everything else is unlocked. Maron Charles listed at 6'4", 313.
Is it Maron or Myron?
I've heard both.
You've heard someone say Maron?
Yeah.
Damn.
Myron,
we gotta check
Maron.
on that.
Let's just go with Myron and not Moron.
Fair enough. 6'4", 313, 3 technique.
He hides it well, man. He hides it well.
3 technique, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This year for sure. We'll see what happens down the road if he gets.
We're not going to play this year.
Yeah,
he'll be bigger next year
if he gets bulked up. But between Murad Watson, Alex January,
he's got to wait his turn.
Right, and that's
same for James Johnson.
James Johnson is probably I would not be surprised if he does not play in a game this year.
I don't think he's going to.
He had some health issues coming out of high school.
He's got to get right.
He didn't really get to participate much in the spring. Pass rushing is what he's good at anyway. So pass rushing.
You want to talk about a Lamar Houston type kid,
right?
That's James Johnson.
Yeah, I can see him. He will definitely factor into the mint front aspect of everything because remember who recruited him hard, and remember who Texas had to flip him from. That's Georgia. You think they weren't going to use him maybe as a 4-eye and someone to fit into those mint fronts and those multifaceted fronts? Like I could see him fitting into those types of looks down the line. Isaiah Coleman, walk on. He kind of got some 4-eye stuff, some defensive end looks, but I don't think we have to talk too much about him. Murad Watson, 6'3",
Drew Kelson's favorite.
6'3", 333. And I know Drew was down on him at the beginning of the year because he was a blocking sled.
I think it was an effort thing with Drew.
It was a little bit of both, but he would get pushed back. He played a lot better as the year went on. And if he's going to be 333, that's a nose tackle.
He did play better. Ian, just clarify that. Didn't Watson play pretty good ball the last month of the season?
I think so.
Because I would mention that in our group, and Drew's like, "No, not buying it." And I was thinking, you know what? Like he would spark a few times the last few games.
I'm having trouble remembering, but I do know that at Syracuse he played like 5 technique and 4-eye, and
played up and down.
He was outside a lot. It was a big thing to come into Texas and be asked to anchor down inside against double teams. That had not been his game at Syracuse.
And he wasn't good at it.
He wasn't good at it, which is for a sophomore that hasn't done it before, it's not really it's not that understandable.
With him, there's a lot of different guys at those spots, but he's definitely going to factor in. He could end up even being a starter. He can compete for it. We kind of expect
he'll be in the rotation.
We expect Canoe in January to be some of the main guys working at those roles. But I mean, I think he's going to play a lot better. And I think he's going to be a big part of this upcoming season. We'll get to that super chat in just a second. We'll keep going though. Josiah Sharma. Justin, I know your guy Zion from Lufkin is in Austin, but Josiah Sharma may be the second team, big nose tackle that we're talking about this year.
Listen, we're talking about big humans. We're not big humans necessarily, but massive guys. Like Ian Giffard is his. We see these guys all the time. Okay, Ian's like a Marvel comic, man. He's like an X-Men. Like there's like 2 people there. He's massive. Sharma is in the same breath, okay? Now, Sharma's not the mass that Ian is. Of course, Josiah is 3 or 4 years younger, but Josiah, that's the wall, okay? That kid has a body frame ideally for what he is going to do for a living. Everything lines up for Sharma. I think this is a kid that's going to be pushed. I think Zion's going to push him and vice versa. And I think that's good for both of them. But Sharma's the one out of every defensive lineman in the program, that's the one that I'm like, that's the next Byron Murphy, or that's the next Tavondre Sweat. Like if everything lines up, if he continues to develop it, he's got that body, he's got the mindset, like that's the stereotypical interior guy. And so Sharma's going to push Zion and like I said, back and forth. Sharma, if he winds up playing legitimate minutes, look out, because this kid, man, he was my favorite D-line take of that class.
Ian, you see nose for him in his future too?
Sharma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like an anchor.
And I also even though I don't know if he's 6'4". I think aside from the times we've seen him on the practice field, Eric's the only one that saw him in person because Tahoe's not far from Folsom.
We've seen Sharma in person.
But he's got some bowling ball to him.
100%.
In a way that not a ton of current Texas defensive linemen have, in my opinion. And I think that's going to be valuable.
That guy's going to play in the NFL.
Hero Kanu, 5th-year senior, or actually, he may be a 4th-year senior, but 4th or 5th-year senior, 6'5", 321, super versatile, someone who's going to be a playmaker on this defensive line. Can probably do a little bit of everything. Best utilization, probably that 3 technique, Ian.
Yeah.
Or just bounce back and forth with Alex January.
It could be. It could be. He played nose at Ohio State and was an obvious fit at Texas. I think he's shown a lot more since he came to Texas than we saw at Ohio State.
I agree.
Yeah, like they totally downplayed his departure, and then like halfway through the year, their board was like in revolt. Like, why did we let that guy go? This is terrible.
They still had good defensive tackles too. It's on the Texans.
It's generally okay for them, but
it'll be fine.
I think that he freed up to be a little more disruptive this year. He may show some stuff that we haven't seen as much yet.
I'm really excited for him. I think that 321 listing might be a little bit light as well.
I think maybe.
That's about where he
is actually more valuable in that D-line room as a leader and as an experienced guy than anything else.
That's where he needs to be, and there's no way you can look at experience for someone like that in the trenches and think that's a bad thing. Like, that is just having older men on the line of scrimmage is always a big deal.
The BYU model.
Yeah. Ian Giffard, the 0 technique when Texas does that.
There's 2 humans there. It's not one person, man. It's 2.
The one
very
thing.
Sweatish.
Say again?
He's very sweat-ish.
Yes. And
it could grow rice.
Something that appeals to me about Giffard, and granted, Arkansas had a pretty crappy defense last year, but the guy played a lot of snaps. And I know when you're 6'5" and 380, that limits your versatility, limits your, utility. But if he gets caught out there, it's not the absolute end of the world. It's not good, but it's not like, oh my gosh, like we're facing a 3 tight end set with 1 defensive tackle out there. Like, that guy played in enough snaps last year, and I think he's probably going to be listed closer to 370 whenever the season comes along.
Yeah.
To where, you can't play him about 10 snaps in a row, but you know that there's still something there for you to be able to use, even if you think you're out of, in a mismatch personnel-wise.
I think Giffard's the secret sauce to this D-line haul this year.
She was shockingly disruptive in the spring game.
Yeah, he's disruptive constantly.
Not the most reassuring thing for the Texas interior line.
Connor Robertson has said before, I've never seen anyone as large as that guy in my life. I think that he's literally 2 of Connor. Connor, you could put 2 Connors side by side, and Ian would still shadow over both of them.
The show The Biggest Loser they used to do?
Is that the weight loss show?
Yeah. Torrey Becton should have a show called The Biggest Winner, where he just gets enormous people into shocking shape, but they stay enormous. Because he's done. If there's anything that he's done that he should get like a trophy for at Texas, it's translating some enormous defensive tackles into enormous semi-conditioned athletes.
Contributing athletes
that can like play and
play.
I'm hoping we get 2022 from Sweat from Giffard. I don't think we're going to get a 2023 level of Tavondre from Giffard this season. I think we could get.
Let's not try to put that on anyone. Like, no one was going to do that.
But I think we could maybe get 2022 Sweat, who was extremely good.
Yeah.
Couple more. Zion Williams probably battling with Josiah Sharma for that second nose tackle spot if they go with the zero technique stuff. Someone that it felt like they took just to replenish that position because they didn't have those types of guys on the roster. Probably someone who is going to develop this year, play in games, but just not be maybe a 10 snap a game type of guy. Sound
Maybe.
about right?
It depends on what they have at nose behind Jafrard. Like, is Watson good there? Is Watson good and reliable there? Can Canoe slide over and play there? Can January slide over and play there? Shawarma. Yeah.
Sharma.
Whatever.
You had someone put it in their comments. Shawarma.
Yeah, I got it in my head.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, funny jokes, huh?
She knew it. She's like, Daddy said it wrong.
She saw me open the fruit snacks for her, and she was delighted.
Man, I could use some
who
fruit
wouldn't
snacks
be?
right now.
I think this will be an interesting question for the season. Is just what exactly are they going to do with the rotations at nose tackle, and then like Jafrard is obvious. I think we're all expecting him to have a pretty good year, and then is it Watson? Does Canoe? Does one of these young guys, Williams or Sharma, get in there? I don't really know. Something to ask about in fall camp, I think.
Last but not least, actually, is this all the defensive linemen? Yeah, because we don't need to talk about the deep snapper. Alex January, going to be a starter for this team. And again, he at 312 pounds gives Texas a very versatile defensive line to where if Canoe and January are both stuck out there, you live with that and you're fine with that. Throw one at nose, throw one at 3-tech.
Yes.
He could play a couple different spots. How big is he actually? He's not 6'5", right?
Yeah,
I believe 6'5".
Yeah, he's about 6'5". He's sneaky big, if that makes any sense. Like, he's a big kid, but I don't know, man. He's always been like that. I just feels like he's always been a big kid, but not overly big, if that makes any sense.
Is he taller than Canoe?
A little bit. Well, they're probably the same height, actually. I think they're the same height.
Okay.
January's the athletic one. January's the one that was a really good young baseball player. Like, January's just cerebral, smart kid. Going to play in the league for 8 years, and most people don't even talk about it in Austin.
Yeah, he's maybe the most breakout potential of that group.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Well said.
They have a lot of guys that are going to be at least pretty good.
This is an interesting super chat from Dre from VA. It's Virginia. I know that area code, 757. What does your ideal NASCAR package on defense look like? It kind of depends. Do you want to emphasize coverage or do you want to emphasize pressure with this Texas defensive personnel group?
I think he's asking about like 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
And so I'll give him maybe even more than he wants. There's talk that Kobe Black is working at safety again a little bit. As good at corner as he looked in the spring, it makes me wonder if they want to get him on the field and dime. And so you have like Masco and Phillips, Black and Littleton, McDonald and Williams, a single linebacker, let's say Rasheem Biles, and then up front, Simmons, maybe Spence. The better interior pass rusher of Ume Azulu and Jackson. And then maybe Vasic or maybe Justice Terry or the best pass rushing defensive tackle.
So I'm trying to think of some of the NASCAR packages from years past, and the one that I really, really enjoyed is the one that had Jahdae Barron playing like dime linebacker, playing a middle linebacker role.
Oh God, that was so much fun.
The Barron one? Barron, you said?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
2024 one. He
played linebacker.
who fits in there?
Well, if you're in dime,
Kobe Black?
yeah, it'd be Kobe Black.
Okay. Let him control that.
You can.
Kobe Black at safety is interesting. That is interesting.
Yes.
Because didn't we talk about that a little bit in his eval coming out of high school?
We talked about it a bunch of times.
Yeah, because he's so damn long. Like people don't realize Kobe Black might be listed at 6'2", but he's the kind of kid that kind of looks 6'3", 6'3 and a half. He's just a tall, long kid that's really growing into his frame. He was at he hosted a football camp a couple weeks ago at Conley. Him and his brother Corey. Kobe looks like a man. And I just remember over the last few years, us covering him, paying attention to Kobe. Like you talk about a breakout guy like Alex January. Kobe Black might be the first guy I mentioned.
They have a lot of dudes on this team that could end up being really good this year.
If Kobe Black works at safety, potentially John Meredith could play as a freshman. Potentially.
I can see that because
John's going to have to play as a freshman. He's going to have to. And if Kobe works at safety, buddy, that's a fit. That's a slide in and get ready to roll.
I think they'll
because he would have to pass Kobe, in my opinion.
They'll find snaps for Meredith if he comes. They'll
no. Yeah, I'm just saying Kobe makes it easier because I think Kobe would be the guy he'd have to beat. If Kobe works at safety, the path for Meredith to the field just got clear.
That also helps.
Potentially.
That also helps when they inevitably lose McDonald to the draft.
That's exactly.
Maybe Williams
planning
too.
ahead.
Yeah. Maybe Williams too.
Well, definitely Jelani. Jelani might be the first safety taken off the board.
It's the best case scenario. Speaking of Meredith, do we want to get into that one a little bit?
Who?
John Meredith.
John Meredith?
You've heard of him, right?
I have. I just posted at InsideTexas.com. Come see us. It really is the best time to join. The decision preview. We're almost 24 hours out. And here's the question, Joe. Is he going to do this on McAfee? You and I had this conversation yesterday. We're like, man, is he going to do this on McAfee? Like Brock Williams and Tyler Atkinson? I'm shocked this isn't a ceremony. Blown away. This isn't a ceremony.
From what you and from what Charlie have said about this recruitment so far, he seems like he just really is focused on football. And he seems like, he's got to go through the recruitment process, but it's not necessarily because he's in love with the recruiting process. It's to see where he'll have the best fit, where he has the most opportunity on and off field, and where, what school is going to develop him. And from what we heard from Charlie and from you about how a lot of his questions during his recent official visit were pointed basically to the field about, can I do this? Will I be able to do this? What type of technique and positioning and stuff like that do you expect from your corners? Like, this is someone who's very ball focused, and it doesn't seem like anything more than a Hayes Fawcett edit is what we're going to get when it comes to an announcement or anything like that. So
I think John is in a position in life where there's a lot of good things ahead of him, and he knows that needs to be the focus. Mm-hmm. That needs to be the sole focus. Like he'll make the main thing the main thing. And I give Coach Flight a ton of credit. One of his trainers, like he does a tremendous job with John. We got a question here from Chris about the ineligibility for a senior season. Sometimes when you move, Chris, coaches like to check boxes. Feels like this box was checked about a year late, but it's still. It got checked, and so UIL decided he wasn't eligible. I wouldn't be surprised if he winds up playing at a private school, potentially like an IMG academy or somewhere like that for the next 6 months, because he's going to graduate early, enroll early. But yeah, sometimes when you move around a little bit, you get a box checked, and when that happens, you got to go to Austin, and a lot of times you're going to lose that battle.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
same thing with Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah.
Colton Nussmeier. Exact same scenario happened with Colton Nussmeier 5 days later. He is not eligible to play quarterback at Denton Ryan now.
My rudimentary understanding of it is like you cannot move for athletic purposes, like just very, very plainly. There are ways to make sure that your move is not seen as for athletic purposes. And if you're not as precise and as thorough on it, the district executive committee, which is head coaches within your district, will raise a stink. So I think that's the thing. It's not any sort of impropriety from John himself.
No, not at all.
I don't understand this whole rule because like an enormous chunk of kids move schools for athletic purposes.
That's exaggerated, Ian.
You put your kid in the school district.
It's not a chunk because UIL is very strict on that.
No, you put your kid in a school district based on the school programs and the quality of the school.
Well,
so like
for non-athletes, yeah.
What's the difference? For another,
I agree with that.
Half the kids in the suburbs are there because they want to be at a school that has good athletic programs. Half the athletes and good programs are there because their parents moved them. It's like, I want to be a part of Westlake. I want to be a part of Lake Travis, whatever.
But sometimes you got to move that home residence. You can't keep that same address in Euless, Texas, and still play football in Fort Worth.
Well, sure.
Sometimes you got to move. You got to, and if I understand this correctly, I think he actually moved to Arlington.
So did he not move into the district?
Lamar district? If he was going to play high school football, that could be changed by now. But
did he not move into the school district?
No.
Oh, well, then okay.
Yeah, that's if you uproot and put yourself in the new place, like the limitations on what the UIL can do, I think, are limited. And I'm not operating with the full list of everything that's happened in this one, but just they are. If you move and it's seen for athletic purposes and you don't cross every T and dot every I, district head coaches are going to be a little bit upset about it. And
if I think you actually live in the district, then they can't say boo, right?
I'll just say yes, but I'm sure there are some exceptions.
They shouldn't be able to say anything.
Right. If you do a full on move, because like what, North Crowley ISD is way different than Euless ISD is way different than.
Yeah, some have open enrollments, some don't. I mean, it's different. It's different everywhere.
Orange.
But North Crowley had been kind of stacking kids for a few years, and I just don't think anybody ever said anything. And then Ray Gates leaves, and they start asking a lot of questions.
Again, and just to, I think, bring it home, it's not anything John did wrong, impropriety, anything like that. Just UIL bureaucracy. Sometimes they you don't do everything exactly right, even if it is for athletic purposes. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They'll get you for this move was for athletic purposes. So
and also don't forget, I do believe Meredith had some familiarity with the Fort Worth area. I knew he grew up with a lot of those kids in that area. There's some familiarity. I want to say Jordan Johnson Rebel's family is actually kind of connected to Meredith in a sense. So he has been around the DFW area. It's not like he just abandoned one school and went to another. There's no I like the way you put it. It's not like John did something wrong. It just so happened a coach woke up that morning and decided to check a box. It's kind of crappy.
So that UIL building you can see from the Dish Falk press box. So I've had
him and Nussmeier they're gonna head to Prime Prep. We got to bring that back.
Oh my gosh, I guess the best private school for football in DFW would be Nolan Catholic. I
would have thought Jesuit or Plano.
But they're in UIL.
Oh, that's right. Plano
Prestonwood, John Paul II, Bishop Dunn.
Problem with those guys, like with John Paul and Bishop Dunn, like if they got guys, they transfer.
Yeah.
They used to keep them 10, 15 years ago. Now they transfer. Our boy Charlie was coaching at John Paul, and they had a great young quarterback, Grayson James, and he was getting recruited, and he wasn't getting recruited enough, so they shipped him to Duncanville. Now I believe he was the quarterback at Boston College last year.
Yeah, the Dallas area schools always win the highest level of TAPS, which is what I played in way back in the day. It's obviously a step down, but I think if he wants to stay in Texas, there are definitely some private school opportunities there for him. Ian, I think before you get out of here, you saw a comment from way earlier in Cotton SEC. I hope you're here to still see it. Rewatched the 2008 Red River Shootout. Little concerned about Muschamp's aggressive scheme. OU delay screening behind it with success. We won, but it was too close for my liking. Off the top, this was the best offense in the country. It still scored 35 points, and it had one of the best college football quarterbacks at the helm. Like, they were going to get theirs.
You cannot say too close for my liking about a game where the Longhorns won as like a touchdown underdog.
By 10. Texas won 45-35.
Won by 10 as like a touchdown underdog.
And do you remember 2 of Oklahoma's touchdowns were flukes?
Yeah.
One was a tipped ball that Jermaine –
fluky.
Very fluky. Come on, man.
Yeah, the thing with that game
We're overthinking that one.
Yeah. Here's a couple other facts about that game. Texas played that game, a lot of it in too high. So it looks aggressive when you see Kendall or like Melton or Arakpo running into the backfield a lot. But there's a lot of the Longhorns with the ball in front of them. And then secondly, Oklahoma in that game scored a lot of their points on they hit a couple screens. They hit a disguised clever wheel route wide open to Jermaine Gresham.
Yeah.
And then their script ran out. And they had shown a lot of their sneakier plays, and then they had to just start out executing Texas, and the well went totally dry. And Texas outscored them by like 20 points in the second half or something. Yeah. So I would look back at that game as like a triumph of the Muschamp system, not as like a cautionary tale.
Ian, it's one of the top 5 football games I've ever watched in my life.
They had DeMarco Murray, Jermaine Gresham, freshman Ryan Boyles.
I think they had Manny Johnson.
Yeah, Manny Johnson and Juan Iglesias were solid.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford, he threw for like 60 touchdown passes. He won the Heisman Trophy. They averaged 50 points a game. They unleashed tempo for the first time from a major school. They had who was that offensive tackle that was like has been like just a Pro Bowl, perennial Pro Bowl. Trent Williams was the right tackle.
Do you know Trent Williams was 260 pounds his senior year leaving?
That's how they used to do it up there.
Leaving Longview. He was 260. I saw a picture the other day. Ishmael Kamara went to visit Trent. Went to visit Trent. He holds a football camp in Longview. And he posted a picture because he looks up to Trent. Trent's like a big brother. You should see how much bigger Kamara is than Trent Williams. It's ridiculous. And Trent's a Hall of Famer.
Duke Robinson, Phil Lodeholt. Their line mauled people.
Yeah.
They were enormous. They used tempo extremely effectively. That was a tremendous game.
I will say
that's football games I've ever watched.
Maybe not the real, but the further defensive triumph was next season when it was 14-3.
Yeah, but that was because Bradford was
he did get hurt
together. Aaron Williams pile drives him on his shoulder on a weak side corner blitz, and Landry Jones showed us exactly what Landry Jones was. He was Landry Jones.
Yeah, their line was totally gone. Gresham came back and then like got injured for the entire season. Yeah, I don't know. That next year was a lot easier.
But you know what? The Texas offense didn't play that great in that next year game either. Like that was, if you remember, if Colt McCoy doesn't trip up old boy on his pick, Texas loses. He almost threw a pick 6 in the red zone.
Yeah.
That was an ugly game. That game required Landry Jones to be himself so that Texas could win.
They also
bad throws to Earl Thomas.
They figured out how to guard Jordan Shipley in that flex tight end spot. In the year that they had in between. Yeah.
Hi.
Still in the show here.
Look at her.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, fruit snacks make me pretty happy too.
Dude,
so,
I gotta load up. I gotta reload.
Make everybody on this screen happy. Go to Inside Texas. Use that first link in our description or use that QR code at the top left of the screen. Sign up for 50% off. We got recruiting intel. We've got team info. We got baseball info. We got everything you need to be a Longhorn fan this week.
Everything.
Especially as official visit season thankfully wraps up, and then we get into decision season, which is always interesting. Hopefully our July 4th is the fun type of busy and not the bad type of busy as it's been in years past. But it's always busy. Come check it out over at Inside Texas. Stay tuned to this channel. Maybe we'll have some videos pop up at some random points throughout this upcoming week and a half or so. Justin, Ian, thank you all so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on IT Live on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel.